Greetings and welcome. My name is Dr. Jonathan Poquette. I'm the Director of Bands here at Elon, and I want to first thank you all for coming out, both in person and for our friends virtually. Thank you. It is awesome to finally make live music with an audience. What a interesting 15, 16 months it's been. So tonight's program features a wide variety of music. And the intent is that we can start to kind of reflect on these 15, 16 months and the journey that we've been on. And so let me first start by saying, upon entering the theater, for those of you who are with us or in person, you should have received a quarter-size sheet of paper with a QR code for the program. And so hope most of you understand how that works, but if you don't, essentially you take your smartphone, open the camera, point it at the QR code, and it should direct you to a website with our program. So feel free to follow along. During the concert, it's not going to bother me at all to have your phones out and kind of watching as we go. So we first started the program with a piece by Chris Bernotas that is, I think, a reflection of a celebration and a dance, because we're finally back together, which is awesome. But our next piece, Sheltering Sky by John Mackey, is intended to bring us into a contemplative state of mind. And so, as Mackey writes in the score, this work imparts a sense of hazy distance as though we recall a half-remembered dream. It's riddled with suspensions and dissonances to create a soundscape that's rich and dense. And just so you know, the piece will end on a chord that does not necessarily sound like a final chord. In music terms, there's some unresolved tones in there, even though we're playing it correctly. And that's okay, because the intent behind this is so that we have an opportunity to ponder, reflect upon this whole COVID pandemic, knowing that our struggles and challenges are not yet over. So we hope you enjoy John Mackey's Sheltering Sky. After 15 months, we're still having to relearn audience protocol and how to clap and all that. So please make them feel welcome. It's okay to hoot and holler. Okay, it's our first time coming back, so make some noise. That's A-okay. You will not offend us in any way. Excellent. Well, this next work is what we call a standard piece in the wind band repertoire. And so we hope you enjoy Hugh Stewart's 3 Airs from Gloucester. Thank you. Oh, it's so great to hear the applause and the cheers. That's awesome. So, we've got to take a quick moment and talk about some of the challenges we've had. So, as a result of the pandemic and all the protocols that we ensembles have to follow in order just to play safely, composers, so the people who were writing all this music, began taking their music and essentially writing for flexible instrumentation. And so what that means is they would take a piece of music that might have 15 different parts, because normally we have a big band, right? And they'll kind of boil that down to 4 or 5 different lines, if you will, and then write that so that no matter who's playing, as long as you have 4 or 5 people, you can play it. And so all the music you're hearing tonight is written for that flexible instrumentation. And our next composer, Omar Thomas, who recently joined the faculty at UT Austin, his background is actually in jazz. And so he decided his contribution for this flexible instrumentation is essentially going to be a jazz band piece. And so when I first heard this, I was like, oh, we've got to explore this because concert bands don't usually play jazz, and especially for small ensembles, it's unique. And so, while there are many similarities between jazz and concert, there are probably as many differences, to be honest. But the biggest is that jazz incorporates improvisation, or we'll call it making it up, right? But there's parameters there. And so this semester, we, the ensemble and I, we explored what does that mean? And so I asked all the students to come up with a solo and perform it for us in our rehearsals. And tonight we have a couple soloists, and everything that you'll hear from them, they wrote. And it's a way for them to kind of take ownership. And so it's been interesting to watch them grow and become more comfortable and play around this thing called jazz, but more importantly, play with each other. Because when we first started, it was very timid, and we're like, wait, what? We got to do this thing called jazz? No thanks. So this certainly has pushed our comfort zone this semester, but we hope you enjoy Omar Thomas's Sharp 9. Let's tune. Can we get B flat and B flat and then Colin McSteen, Lucas Hoffus, Dylan Pfeiffer, Kevin Wilson on piano. Woo! All right. So at Elon, I have the pleasure to work with some absolutely fantastic colleagues. And not only are they just amazing people, but they're also extremely inspirational. And that is certainly true for our Assistant Director of Bands, Professor Ben Jones. Professor Jones is currently a doctoral candidate at UNCG, which means he's completed all his coursework for his doctoral program, and all he has left to finish is a dissertation. I think he only has a chapter or two left, if I'm not mistaken. So soon to be the newly minted Dr. Jones. Professor Jones has been with us, though, since last January, so right before the pandemic. And without him and everything that he has given to this program, we would not be able to do the stuff that we've been able to do thus far. As a teacher, Professor Jones is constantly pushing the students to become better musicians and explore, we'll say, out-of-the-box strategies so that way they can improve. And he's been a tremendous asset. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Professor Jones to the stage to give his wind ensemble conducting debut here at Elon as he conducts David Gillingham's At Morning's First Light. All right. Well, before we play our last two numbers, I want to take a moment to thank these students on stage. They've endured so much over the past year and a half, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that they've done, the hurdles they've overcome, and the commitment they've given this semester. So thank you, students. Yeah. Because as a result of the pandemic, we have literally 4 pages of guidelines and protocols that we have to follow in order that we can continue to meet safely. And it's been nerve-wracking to play in a small group when you're used to playing in a band of 50 to 60, right? Imagine that. All of a sudden, you're all by yourself when you're used to having 4 or 5 friends. And so not only is it challenging to play in a small group, but now with COVID guidelines, we've got to be so far apart, right? Just like in everything else. So now that art of communication becomes even more challenging just as a result of distance. And so COVID's layer just adds this whole another complexity to everything that we do. And it's amazing the amount of work and the obstacles that they've overcome to make this happen. So, again, thank you, students. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to work with you this semester, and I hope it was a rewarding experience for you, because I know it was for me. Every one of these students deserves some kind of recognition, and I wish we could help them financially and give them all the money and make everything free, right? Wouldn't that be great? But the world doesn't work like that. However, I am pleased to announce that the department chair, Dr. Hallie Hogan, has graciously agreed to provide 2 $750 scholarships to be given to students participating in Wind Ensemble next academic year. And specifically, this scholarship is intended to go to students who aren't music majors, but rather to participating individuals just because they enjoy playing their instrument. And so for their hard work, dedication to music, and contributions to the department and university, it gives me great pleasure to award these scholarships to Gabe Del Hoyo and Lucas Hofsas. Could you guys please come up and get your certificates? They don't know that this is happening. So, yeah, this is a big deal. Congratulations, Gabe. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Congratulations, Lucas.
Thank you.
See if I can actually say this next paragraph, because obviously I don't speak super well, but anyway. Finally, the last 2 pieces on our concert have presented us with equally different challenges. Vesuvius by Frank Ticheli has been a semester-long project because it pushes these students to new heights, and in the process, they have overcome many challenges. Following Vesuvius, we will conclude with a classic John Philip Sousa march entitled The Thunderer. And as I just mentioned, one of our goals with this semester has been to play in a chamber music setting. And I believe there's no better way to do that than to simply just make music with each other in the ensemble. And therefore, the students are going to do our final Sousa march unconducted, because this evening it's all about them and their accomplishments this semester. So I want to thank you all for joining us this evening, and we hope you enjoy our final two selections, Vesuvius and the Thunderer.
1, 2, ready, play.